I'm Corbett Wall with DV Auction, here with your feeder flash for Wednesday, April the 24th, brought to you in part by Stay Tough Fencing. Stay Tough manufactures one of the broadest lines of high tensile and low carbon fences on the market, plus a full line of tools and accessories. Stay strong, stay tight, stay tough with Stay Tough Fencing. Fed beef production is up. I noticed by reading a daily livestock report there put out by CME that in recent weeks our slaughter has been quite a bit heavier than it's been running so far this calendar year, and we were happy about that. But that, coupled with the heavier carcasses, is actually resulting in more fed beef production than we had a year ago. And we think with our tight supplies and of all classes of cattle and the extremely tight supplies of cows, but you know, we're back off on our cows so much on the slaughter. A lot of that extra is being made up by steers and heifers, so we're actually seeing more fed beef production, and then that coupled with lighter exports and heavier imports, that's one reason why we can't get box beef cutout values to spark any more than what we can, and we feel like they should be over $3, but your packers are not able to keep them up that way, or at least what they're reporting. We're not seeing that, but we just are worrying about our beef demand. I don't think we need to worry about it yet. We're starting to see warmer temperatures. We had seen kind of an early spring in some places, then it kind of turned off cold again. In a lot of places where it's warm, it's been windy and not really ideal to be outside grilling, but you just have to feel like people just can't wait to get outside and start grilling. And when they do, I think we'll see them come to those middle meats, which are not sparking the way that they normally would in the early spring. But I feel like we'll probably get back to where we need to be as far as our beef demand, and maybe perhaps packers will be able to get those box beef cutout values higher, and whether or not they show that to us or not on the reports, I guess that remains to be seen. But here in northeastern Panhandle, there, actually in Beaver County, Oklahoma, went by Beaver County stockyards there Tuesday after I attended the Hemp Hill County Beef Conference in Canadian Texas. And that is right in the middle of fire country, guys, where they had the big fires there a couple of months ago. And of course there was a lot of talk about that at the Hemp Hill County Beef Conference there. But the conference was interrupted by a huge anti-Israel Muslim protest that held the cowboys up. No, that would not happen in Canadian Texas, or anywhere within at least 300 miles in every direction. You only see that in your liberal universities in your big cities and stuff like that. We don't have to worry about that. In fact, the message was a lot about Christianity. In fact, Kayleigh McEnany, which was the press secretary for President Donald Trump in the last part of his term, was there, and she gave a message that was full of Christianity and faith, and a lot of the other people mentioned the same thing. And so we didn't have to worry about any of that Muslim Jew bigotry back and forth against one another or anything like that, and we don't have to worry about that in the heartland of America. But the Hemp Hill County Beef Conference was well attended. Huge crowd. I mean, I've been to a lot bigger conferences in bigger cities and bigger outfits putting them on that were not nearly as well attended as the one in Canadian Texas, and it was very impressive to see there. And it was mostly producers. It wasn't just vendors talking back and forth to each other. But it did cost something, over $150 to get in, but they did feed us fairly well and did have a lot of good speakers there. So, and like I said, a good crowd there for those of us that were going around to the different vendors in the trade show. But we also heard that the cow plant in Gibbon, Nebraska is already back up. It was dark for one day on Monday after the fire that was mostly in the rendering part, but we felt like that it had damaged some hardware that was going to cause it to that plant to be dark several days. They were only dark one day. They were right back up. In fact, our slaughter for Tuesday was pretty impressive for the one day. So we can stop worrying about that. Let's look at our board. Our live cattle were down, but feeder cattle continuing to rally. The live cattle were down, and some people thought that maybe it was because we've been hearing a lot of rumors about Colombia, which is an importer of our beef, maybe not wanting any beef from any of those states that had the outbreak of bird flu and some dairy cows there. There's been no confirmation on that. It's just swirling there, but whether or not that caused live cattle futures to be down some on Tuesday, I don't know, but they weren't down nearly as much as they were up on Monday. April live cattle was down 47 cents at 183.35. June was down 90 at 177.15. Your back months on live cattle down 90 cents to up $1.12 on your back months. Feeder cattle for April were up 85 cents at 243.75, but falling back from our index levels because our cash prices are going up like crazy. May feeder cattle up 87 cents at 246.05. Your back months on feeder cattle up 70 cents to up $1.10. May corn was unchanged on Tuesday at 443. May beans up 2.5 cents at 11.70. May Kansas City hard red winter wheat down a half cent at 608.25. No fat cattle trade at all negotiated on a direct basis out of your 5 area feeding region, so we wouldn't expect anything really to be happening on a Tuesday, but indeed there was nothing. But luckily we have a price discovery in a fat cattle auction in a brick and mortar sale barn in the Northern Plains at Stockman's Livestock Market in Yankton, South Dakota. They had 1,400 fat cattle in overnight, ended up with 1,800 head total. The conventional fat cattle, steers and heifers sold from 180 to 185.75, which was $1 to $2 higher. Program cattle, the non-implanted and drug-free groups that came through, sold from 183 to 189.25, and that top price was on two pretty good sized groups there, with one of those groups being half Wagyu steers weighing 1785. You wonder why these carcasses are higher, because your packers are giving premiums and no discounts on heavy carcasses like that. But that was steady to $3 higher on the program cattle in Yankton, South Dakota at the fat cattle auction. Box beef cutout values were higher. Choice cuts were up $1.47 at $297.40. Selects were up 89 cents at $292.76. Your slaughter creeping back after being way behind on Monday, but up through Tuesday, 238,000. That's 7,000 for the week, less than last week at this time. 14,000 less than the same week a year ago at this time. Talk about what else is going on. Rec Agra, that's Farm and Ranch Realty there. They've got a listing, and it's actually going to be an auction. It's going to be an online only auction to be held on May the 2nd. Guys, that's the day there. And it's Advantage Feed Yard near Sterling, Colorado. If you know that area, there's a lot of availability of feed there, a lot of availability of cattle there. They're going to be selling the ground, land, and equipment. 25,000 head capacity feed yard, plus 447 more or less acres of ground there. There's got two irrigated pivots there that go on that. They've got 27,000 foot of bunk. They got a state-of-the-art flaking mill that goes with all the equipment. 934,000 bushel grain storage on site there. A new office with scales, feed trucks, etc. Everything that goes with, basically a turnkey deal, and it's an online only auction May the 2nd. with Rec Agra. For more information, go to recagra.com. Talk about your feeder cattle market, your real-time index on DVAuction. Late in the day on Tuesday, based on an 800-pound cash auction steer, was sitting at 245.71, up $1.56. Your latest CME cash feeder cattle index was 243.22, gained a little over $1 on Tuesday, just like I told you it would on our last visit. Talk about some big sales that happened on Tuesday. How about Ozarks Regional Stockyard in West Plains, Missouri? That 3,100 head through the ring, another 905 with their in-house video that they do with help from DVAuction there. It's just amazing how well they're doing with that, and can't see why a lot of you other bigger regional sale barns couldn't be doing that also. But the steers and heifers through the ring sold $5 to $10 higher. Spots as much as $15 higher on the lighter calves. They did have a package of thin steers through the ring, weighed 500 pounds on the dot, bring 362. But one stick out sale that I saw on the in-house video came from Smith Flooring, and it was 180 head of home-raised steers, Mountain View, Missouri, 590 pounders to deliver next week, and the delivery included being sorted from the cows. So these calves were unweaned, going to be delivered on the farm next week. 180 head of them, weighing 590, bring 325 right off the cow, guys. That's an impressive sale. Happened on the in-house video at Ozarks Regional Stockyard. Talk about your NationalBeefWire stick out sale of the day. It was Kimball Livestock Exchange in Kimball, South Dakota. Had over 4,500 feeders that come through Cattle Market Central there, and you look at this automated market report, and it's mostly feeder weights, and you can see how well tested they are. Pretty impressive, guys. From Kimball, South Dakota, 428 head of 7-weight steers, average 760 with a weighted average price of $274.19. There were 789 head of 8-weight steers. They averaged 859 at $250.47. 636 head of 9-weight steers averaged 935 at $241.95. On the heifers, 390 head of 6-weight heifers averaged 665 at $266.64. 561 head of 7-weight heifers averaged 772 at $239.30. There were 720 head of 8-weight heifers in Kimball, South Dakota. They averaged 848 at $221.83, and 249 head of 9-weight heifers averaged 934, the weighted average price of $217.67. Excellent sale there at Kimball Livestock Exchange. Give you some individual quotes. How about on some heifers? How about Beaver County Stockyards in Beaver, Oklahoma? Had some well conditioned heifers for turnout. 101 heifers weighed 510 and bring 309 in Beaver, Oklahoma, guys. Another string of heifers, this time up at Kingsville, Missouri, at Kingsville Livestock Auction. They sell 260 head of feeder heifers sold to feed, weighed 740 and bring 249.35. But the most impressive quote that I saw anywhere on Tuesday, your Macrocin, no BS, top quote for the day, come out of Gordon Livestock Market in Gordon, Nebraska. It was 160 steers, weighed 809 and bring 263 1/4. And that's your feeder flash for Wednesday.